I'm Suzanne Robinson, and I've been asked to talk about my experiences of using pranic healing with my autistic son. So, a little bit about my son. He is 5.5 now. He's called Zach. He has profound autism. So, by that I mean there really isn't one part of him that isn't affected by it, really. There's not one part of him that you would say he's functioning as you would expect a child of his age to function. For example, he has very little speech, although he does have some speech. He has very poor gross and fine motor skills. So, for example, he has very little grip or strength in his hands. He walks on his toes and with one foot turned in. He has no control over his body, really. No spatial awareness, no sense of safety or danger. Very hard to interest him in anything. He doesn't have a particular obsession or interest. It's just very hard to engage him on any level, really. So lots of challenges. I was recommended pranic healing by a friend of mine whose opinion I trust and respect very much, and she's someone that had worked with Zach and she thought it might help him. So that's why I was willing to give it a try. We went to see Les Flitcroft, who said that he'd worked with children with autism before and that we could expect to see some real positive improvements, but that it would take time. He suggested it could take around a year of weekly sessions. So, you know, it is a big commitment, but it's very important to us as parents to really feel like we are trying everything that we can. We never want to look back and think maybe if we tried this it would have made a difference, or maybe we should have done that. So we just do everything that we can afford to do, basically. So we've been seeing Mark Willis weekly for 9 months now, and we've certainly seen some good results. In terms of how the sessions work, it's great actually for a child with autism because they don't have to sit still, because Zach doesn't. It's completely hands off, so you know there's no touch involved, which is again I think quite important when it comes to a lot of autistic children. Zach actually loves Mark, so really enjoys being around him, which is brilliant. So no problems with getting him to cooperate in the session, because he doesn't actually need to cooperate. He doesn't need to do anything. He just needs to be. He doesn't even need to be in the same room actually. So it's very practical for an autistic child in that point of view. And in terms of progress, it is very hard to measure. I think any parent in my situation will know that these things are quite hard to measure. And he does go up and down as well. So you kind of feel like you're getting somewhere. And then a month later, you seem to have gone back. But actually, with hindsight, we certainly have progressed a long way in the last few months since we've been doing this. He is talking better. He's definitely sleeping better and is calmer. And most of the time he seems happier. His motor skills have improved as well. His walking is better, and his fine motor skills, the use of his hands, he's definitely he can turn a tap on now with quite a lot of help, but he can do that, which he couldn't do before. So he certainly has made good progress. Whether this is down to pranic healing or not, I can't be sure. I suspect that it's actually a combination of that and all the other things that we do. You know, he has some great teachers at his special school, and we do a lot of work with him. We give him a lot of supplements. So it's very hard to measure what's making the difference, but I suspect it's everything, and pranic healing is certainly a big part of that. I can measure how I feel about it. Obviously, Zach can't tell me, so I have to kind of go by my own experience. And I've got a lot out of it personally, because we are completely connected. I've realised that, you know, how I'm feeling will affect him, and I certainly know how he's behaving certainly affects my mood. So Mark's helped me understand that. And although the sessions aren't aimed at me, they're aimed at Zach, I have actually felt quite a large emotional release. In some sessions I've ended up crying. So I definitely know that something is happening and that there is a change in my emotional state, and I am being affected on quite a deep level with it. So, I know that there's something in it and something is happening, even though progress is really hard to measure with an autistic child. The other thing that you can do, of course, is learn how to do it yourself so that you can help your child at home every day without, incurring the kind of costs of having a weekly session. So that's something that I've done myself, and although we are still seeing Mark, but I guess eventually I'll take over and do it myself when I feel confident enough in my abilities with healing. So I would recommend it to anybody. Any therapy, I think, is worth giving it a go if you can afford the time and the money. But it's not a quick fix. You can't just have a couple of sessions and expect it to make a big difference. I guess for some people it might, but I think with autism, it's a long-term journey. I certainly know pranic healing can make a very quick difference in a lot of cases. But I think with autism, you can't expect things to change overnight. So you do have to be prepared to put some time and effort and money into it. But I would highly recommend it to anyone. Thank you.